The Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, deployed 700 trained, accredited, non-partisan rapid response observers to observe the district-level elections. Of this number, 500 were stationary observers assigned to 500 randomly selected polling stations in 86 districts located in 10 regions of Ghana. The remaining 200 were roaming observers with the designated districts. CODEO has first-hand information, and we will like to delve into and make future, and they say they'll make future elections better with this. We spoke to National Coordinator for CODEO, Albert Kofi Ahen, earlier.
I would say that, and CODEO is saying that it looks like we are disappointed with the outcome, in the sense that it's always low. The turnout for this particular election is low. So maybe before CODEO even comes out, what we are saying is that let the stakeholders in this particular election sit down. Let us take a critical look at the decentralization process of this country. Let us look at the disassembly concept. People are saying it should be partisan, some are saying it should be non-partisan or whatever. The whole country should take a critical look, because we are spending so much money and we should get value for money. Look at the postponement, the money that was spent, and then secondly, the election itself. I mean, is that money, is that value for money? So the nation should look at it and then put things in their right perspective, so that we don't waste too much money on that election when we don't get anything. If you have 800 voters and at the end of the day only 10 come to vote, and you print ballots for that particular electorate, you would have wasted money. So the nation should take a critical look and come out with a solution. CODEO has issued 2 reports. Yesterday, for example, even though there was a count and there was the declaration of results, we are still watching it. We gathered data, we are going to work on it, and then we are coming out with an interim report. CODEO normally comes out with an interim report. Then finally we come out with the report itself. And in that report, we're going to lay bare all the issues at stake from day one up to the point where we had the closure of the poll. And then we come out with recommendations for future use.
Okay, there were also some reports we picked up, for instance, in Wa, where elections delayed and at some point couldn't even go on because the materials were wet. It had rained the night before. And there were other issues of materials arriving late and all. How could these have been avoided? What could have been done?
Yeah, let me take the rain first. In the case of the rain, that is not predictable. That can happen anywhere. But of course, it depends on how the presiding officer will, in conjunction with his people, take a decision. If it was rained off, then of course a new day or a new date will be set aside for that election to be conducted. But for those that arrived late, I don't think they have any excuse, because they had the whole night to mobilize. So that one, I don't think it's something that we should forget about. Maybe the commission should take a cue from this, because we are entering the 2016 election. These things should not happen. Apart from that, what we are saying is that the incident that happened, intimidation, harassment and that kind of thing, of course, because we didn't cover the entire polling stations in the country, we were not able to get information from all those places. But for the 86 district that we covered, I'm sure all the reports has come out, and we are saying that, to be fair to the Electoral Commission, they did quite well. And I believe this is a pointer to the fact that, given the right kind of resources, maybe they'll be able to perform better in 2016.
The biometric machines worked largely well, and you said, as you indicate, there were backups for them, but this one was also an election that wasn't so heavily patronized. Had it been heavily patronized, would they have survived, as we saw, for instance, in 2012?
Okay, I hear the Electoral Commission is trying to reduce polling stations to about 500. Okay. Maybe from 1,000 to 500, maybe the next time around. If that is done, and we have 2 machines at every center, I'm sure to be able to withstand that pressure. What you're saying is right. If everybody had come, because you had about 900,000 in most cases, maybe the pressure would have been too much. But of course, because it didn't happen, we wouldn't know what may have taken place. But with the robustness of what we saw, we believe that with the next election, it could withstand the huge pressure.
Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West, Wogon, Emmanuel says it is high time we formalize the involvement of political parties in the district assembly elections. Speaking on the AM show, he said the nation stands to benefit if the involvement of political parties is formalized, considering the cost involved in organizing the polls.
After we spend so much money on these things, it must benefit this country. You go to an assembly and so the assembly members have been elected by 10 or 15% of the electorate. Is it representative?
Well, the electorate decided not to participate.
Yeah, it is because probably there may be some other reasons, but I think that those that clearly understand must examine it and find solutions to it.
Okay.
Because like I'm saying, I've been an assemblyman before. I've been a government appointee to the assembly. I've been an elected assemblyman. I have been a presiding member of the Lower Manyakobo District Assembly for about 7 years. I clearly understand, I think I clearly understand the nuances. Look, this bit about it is non-partisan, it's a sham and we must get away from it.
You mean what indirectly it is partisan?
When yesterday in my elections, I know the people who are MPP, I know the people who are NDC, I know who you understand me? So out of the 6 electoral areas,
and you think formalizing it is a way to go?
I think formalizing it is a way to go.
One of the assembly members disqualified from yesterday's district level election says the Electoral Commission was unfair to him. Speaking on News Desk earlier, 72-year-old Emmanuel said he was disqualified on age grounds. He says that that's not fair because he's not weak and can perform his mandate. The Electoral Commission disqualified a number of aspirants based on CI 89, which regulates the conduct of the elections.
Was made for man and not man for law. So why is it that they kept the whole thing in their side instead of bringing it into the mind of the people? No, it's there. This is what is going on. I'm 72, and within a year, I presented my papers within a year. March 72 was accepted. When someone is wrong, there is holding a stick. I don't hold stick because my body was very small. Nothing was controlling my body. I was fit for any work. So I was surprised. Every election needs money. What you were saying is 7%. We even use more than that. This is the second time. The first one, we spend a lot, and that March, July one is another. And we also use another money. So that there was a painful situation we went in. Very, very painful. It was 7% true. So what happened? We went to one of the lawyers, we consulted a lawyer, and he was explaining that, okay, we should keep calm. He's going through everything. So every day, my brother was calling me, Sonma, where have you reached? What has happened? I said, oh, I'm a brother, take to school. I'm still working on it. So in the last hour, my brother called me and I told him, my brother, we should forget. Let us forget. After all, what? Let us forget.
The Electoral Commission has received pressure to change the electoral roll from new quarters. The Let My Vote Count Alliance, Alliance for Accountable Governance and Movement for Change are scheduled to march and present a petition to the Electoral Commission on the need to compile a new register ahead of the 2016 elections. Dr. Anthony Nsiasare of the Movement for Change group spoke earlier on News Desk about their plans.
The pressure at this time is that the Movement for Change in alliance of Let My Vote Count, AFAG and other concerned groups want the East to know that going to the 2016 elections of a very credible register is the way to go. We in Movement for Change, Let My Vote Count, AFAG, believe that we should have a very credible register so that there will be peace in this country after 2016 election. And that's why we want to march the EC and to the Parliament to present our petitions. We are talking for the broad masses of Ghanaians. We are talking for the ordinary Ghanaians that we want Ghanaians to elect their own leader. We don't want anybody who is not a Ghanaian, foreigners, to be part of our election process. And that's all why we are telling the EC that we should, as much as possible, as quickly as possible, have a new voters register. And we want a new voters register now. We have realized that Ghanaians are very much concerned about a very credible register. So we are on the social network, and also people's signatories, so that we show the whole world that we are very much concerned that there should be a new credible voters register for the 2016 elections. And we shall take it at EC until the time that the EC tells us that they will listen to us, because we want peace. War or any peaceful situation after the 2016 election will not be very good for this country. More expensive to have disturbance after elections than to have a very credible, fair, and transparent election, which everybody is satisfied, and they will move this country forward.
The mayor of Accra, Alfred of Cope van der Poel, is scheduled to pick his nomination forms to contest the Ablekuma South seat on the ticket of the NDC. Joy News' Latif Idris, who has been following the development, earlier reported of massive support for the mayor awaiting his arrival. Let's get an update from him. He joins us on the telephone. Latif, has the mayor arrived to pick his nomination forms yet?
Yeah, as we speak, after Mayor Alfred of Cope van der Poel just picked his nomination form, the Ablekuma South Party office, and we are now driving through the streets, and we've been cheered by party supporters all over. I have the mayor right here with me, and I just want to have an engagement with him. Mayor, you're welcome to join us. Thank you. You promised the people of Accra a millennial city. Would you say that you are eager that now you want to move on to become a member of parliament for the area?
When one considers the structures that have been put in place in Accra, when one considers the developmental agenda that has been delivered for the past 7 years, I would say yes, we are on the road to achieving a full complement of a millennium city. Look at the achievements that have been done and made under my leadership in education, in road network, in the economic empowerment of the people of Accra, and so on and so forth. Sanitation. So one can say that, yes, we haven't reached the promised land, but we have put in place various structures that will guarantee us a successful and a good city.
Now, looking back as the mayor, what is the one significant achievement you can say that, okay, based on this one, this is the record on which I'm riding to become a member of parliament? What is this one thing that you can point and say, I've made significant achievements in this area, so vote for me as a member of parliament?
Look, for over 40 to 50 years, the ship system existed in this country, in particular in the Accra metropolitan area. Several of our people adults today are attended to under the ship system. It took me having been in office to end the ship system, where by the time we ended the ship system, there were so many hundreds of students who were receiving, instruction in under one class. So not only did we end the ship system, but we also started the building and constructing millennium city schools. Today, we are almost close to 125 millennium city schools in Accra. Education is the bedrock of every country, every city, and every town development. And that you cannot take it away from the people of Accra.
That's some of the achievements. But Mayor, you also promised that we are going to deal with Lavender Hill, we are going to deal with hawkers on the street, we are going to deal with truck pushers. We still have some of these challenges in the national capital within your jurisdiction. What would you say to people who say that you feel as mayor of Accra?
I don't know why you even use the word fail around me. Because, look, all the issues that you mentioned, Lavender Hill, we have closed about 1/4 of the Lavender Hill situation. Today, Lavender Hill is almost getting to a point where Lavender Hill will be no more. If you look at liquid waste, we have constructed a new liquid waste plant in Islington. And today, we are constructing a new sewage line in Accra from Tansoma through Kolegono, old, Montlovi, and all over. We are constructing new sewage lines.
And then when you talk about sanitation, you can see sanitation today. The generation of refuse in Accra has been reduced by over 60%. Go to the CBD today, you see that we have red line where hawkers are not serving on the road. They are giving the road back to the pedestrians, and the motorists have access to their roads, and traffic is flowing in Accra. So, you know, I see, and I don't know where exactly your question is coming from, but that cannot be described. The conditions in Accra today cannot be described as failure. Today, you go to the city of Accra, you will see that you don't contend with refuse, you don't contend with hawkers. You can see that within 24 hours, when you are driving or walking the streets of Accra, you will see leaflets and papers all over the place. It's a great activity.
All right, now let's come to the other contenders. We have the MP of the South, who's also in it for this very seat. Are you sure you're going to pick up this seat for the NDC?
Well, I don't know who is in for this seat. But what I know is that Okobanapwa is in, contending for the NDC ticket. And once I clear the primaries, I will represent the NDC and I will win the seat for NDC come December 20.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so Francisco Johnson from the Mayor of Accra, he's very sure of victory come election day right here.
Okay, thank you very much, Latif Idrisu. He's been speaking to Accra's successful mayor who wants to be an MP. You're watching Joy News Today with me, Francisca Kakra Force. And let's take a quick break. We'll be back with business. Welcome to Business on Joy News Today. Finance Minister Cedi says he's expecting positive action from donor partners and investors following the IMF's encouraging verdict on Ghana's economy. The IMF board on Monday said it was satisfied with Ghana's commitment to stabilizing its economy. This was after a performance review under the fund program. Donor and investor funds for the country have been frozen because of concerns with the management of the economy. But Mr. Cedi says the donor funds should soon be available.
I believe that whilst it does not constitute, a final endorsement, of completion of the measures, the voice of the IMF at this stage is significant enough. This should also lend some credence. I know there was some skepticism. The World Bank board's position in having confidence in Ghana's prospects and endorsing both the policy-based guarantee as well as the partial risk guarantee for the Sankofa investment. I think, yes, it is a statement, that would inure to the benefit of Ghana. And finally, therefore, as I said, the appeal is to be realistic against the background of falling commodity prices as to what the budget can contain.
The Ghana Cedi continues to appreciate against the US dollar on the interbank market. The local currency over the past 5 days has recorded some substantial gains against the dollar. But could this development contribute to the expected economic recovery and reduce the cost of living? George Yaffe has more.
Ghana Cedi has gone down from about 4 Ghana Cedis 50 pesos to 3 Ghana Cedis 65 pesos among some of the major commercial banks in the country. Some analysts are attributing this to the increase in supply of dollars by the Bank of Ghana and projections that the local currency could be appreciating strongly against the US dollar in the coming weeks. But looking at how the economy is structured, an appreciating cedi could result in prices of goods and services going down. How? Well, majority of what we consume here in Ghana are brought in from outside. So as an importer, if I don't need more Ghana cedis to bring in the same quantity of goods, then I might not be forced to pass on any cost to the consumer. Another area that we should be monitoring closely are prices of petroleum products. Even with the current performance of the Ghana cedi, some marketers have reduced their prices by 10%. So you can imagine what could happen if the current appreciation is sustained. A development that could also result in inflation rates coming down. You should also think about the interest that government is paying on our external loans, which is being put at around 10 billion Ghana cedis. A strong cedi might also see the amount drop substantially. Some analysts even think that utility tariffs could also go down if the current development with our cedi is anything to go by.
That's all in business. Coming up next is sports. Angry National Democratic Congress youth in Damongo in the West Gonja district of the Northern region yesterday vandalized the party's constituency office and the campaign office of Northern Regional Minister Alhaji Mohammed Muniru Limuna. The action of the youth is in protest over Alhaji Limuna's decision to step down in the NDC parliamentary primaries slated for November 7. The NDC youth marched through the streets of Damongo chanting war songs and causing mayhem, wielding placards with inscriptions communicating their displeasure. The rampaging youth finally settled at the party office where they pelted stones. They were pelted stones and they were chased. They also chased constituency executives out of the place. Now, spokesperson of the group, Suma Sharif, tells Joy News they feel betrayed by the Northern Regional Minister.
All we have always cried for was a person who could bring improvement to the people of this constituency by means of building their capacities. All we have always cried for was a unifier, one that will cement the cracks within the party. Alhaji Muniru, your expression of interest to contest the Damongo seat on the ticket of NDC did not only give us a glimmer of hope that we were going to see light at the tunnel, at the end of the tunnel.
We'll bring you more of that in subsequent bulletins. But that's it for Joy News today with me, Francisca Kakrafos. And for more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. Thank you very much for your company. Bye-bye.